we will have a research lab, and that lab will have people to investigate things. They could be scientific and free energy or whatever to to help the planet.
But actually, the research part is for the hydroponics and things like that for the plant life, etc. And that's one of the many things we'll be doing. But overall, what we're doing is we're promoting Rebazar and the real guides and the real universes and educating people about that. And in the meantime, we have a lot of people that want to, rant and rave about, they don't like what I'm saying, or I'm using 3 letters in a word, and that bothers them too, etc. So we have a lot to deal with, don't we? So we can use the research lab for many things, can't we? We can show people how to correct themselves.
You have a grammatical department.
Yeah, there you go, a grammatical department.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rewriting history, so I'm creating our own language more so than Sanskrit and trying to relate this to people, but it really bothers them because they want to continually only read their literal indoctrinated language, how it's always been, according to the Queen Monarchy reptilians. And so I'm trying to show people something else to relate to that helps them become more aware as a real reference. But it's always a struggle there, isn't it? Just like getting teenagers to take out the trash.
On the language, I've been acutely aware of the depth of the language. We'll say English in particular, but I know it also will relate to other languages and other values of words and combinations of sounds and so forth. But this bit about the language and the words is been rather acute for myself, because I'll be able to see within the words both, let's say, the real source of the word and also, let's say, the alien interpretation, or let's call it cosmic version, and also the human context and the interpretation that it would be used in its normal presentation to everybody, at least as far as what we're calling normal at the moment. As an example would be COVID and co-opt, which is, I often been thinking about this. I use this in a song I wrote yesterday, co-opt COVID, humanity, and very simple, the word COVID means co-video. So it's a program to get everyone to plug into the media program, the alien program, and that's the word for it. I mean, it's absolutely perfect, even though nobody in the public sector is going to go COVID. Oh, that means it's about a video or an audio track, like that. And it's become very apparent to me, these words in their presentation, and that they're actually, code words is part of it, that they're using, and identifiers in this presentation, so that people will lock in. What do you call what the Scientologists call that, when they had words that people locked into? Doesn't come back to me right now, the wording, but this is a very important part of their what they're trying to teach, supposedly, about being aware of things at their level, which is a mental level, etc. So I think that's a very significant because we humans, taught you have two things. You have your tools and your language, which are tools also. But, we started out with the 2001 where the monkey is hitting the tool and then he uses it to kill the monkeys at the beginning of the 2001 movie. And, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so we've got liquid, we've got the tools and language, which are the manipulators of the environment. And these are the tools that they're using with the media and technology and consciousness operation, development of consciousness or development of the control of the human consciousness. It's more or less the same thing. So I've been, say, guesstimating on this whole thing and using this too. If I like writing songs, of course. So I've got I'm aware of myself as perhaps sometimes as a vehicle for using this language to manipulate, or just as a to be aware of and to use in a prescriptive is the word I'm using, like a prescription to be aware of what's going on. But I'm not trying to use the words to put it into a control and help the continuous hypnotism. And, all these words are all interrelated with that and this discussion about it. So thanks for that, pointing that out. And I just wanted to give an experience on that. I mean, I'm relating it to. So the other things are, haven't been here for a while with the group, so on Skype. So I thought I would see, that's a way that the terminology gets in the way or becomes difficult to share. Because if I say, I haven't been here for a while, it sounds like, oh, well, Pete's been out to lunch somewhere and he's not with things like that. As opposed to saying, I'm just haven't been on the Skype calls for whatever reason. And so here it is. But the language is so easily misunderstood. And when I try to speak on this, or when I do speak on it very distinctly in, let's say, the new terms, and I'll use new UU or whatever word, kind of, our code words. I've had people come back to me and say, you're just talking this new speak like Duane, and they don't think that it's independently shared and that I have, that I am working with this wholeness that Rebazar, etc., is coming through or is being with. So, this is a whole thing about using the language and communications and so forth, which is the main thing is, we're not communicating the words, and the words is important, and the concept of the words is important, or the concept that the word gives is important. But the reality is what's important. And so, I take a big breath and go, okay, that's it right there. So I had a dream with Harold, or dream vision, I don't know which, sometimes. But in any case, I was sitting with him on a bench or indoors, I think. And it was like the place where I think he is now, which is, I'm told or think it's an assisted living facility, even though I can get very few of the echists to respond to any of the question or discussion about it. The last guy I said that to, he came back to me and said, until I hear that you're not doing something or putting out anything with UU, new you, I'm not talking with you about anything. And, you know, it's got this caveat emptor, whatever the proper term is, for I will if you will, otherwise no. You know, so there's no free, unrestricted, you know, relation, which is how you started today, Val, and going back kind of full circle maybe there. And so I guess that's a little bit of what I've been thinking. When I was on the bench with Harold, it was like we're equals facing the same direction. And I think the context was he's inviting me there with him. In a literal sense, should I take that to go to Minnesota and park myself at his place and try and talk to him? Well, that's not going to happen. And even if it does, again, that's part of what I just found out is that they are going to do a seminar for the first time, a virtual seminar. And so they're going to try and do something related to that. I don't even know if Harold's going to be part of it, you know. I almost would doubt it. But they may have him do a talk, I guess, like he does. It's the same thing as always. In other words, nothing's changed. And whether they have any context, maybe, Duane, you're just mentioning that maybe on the real side that there may be actual change or adjustment or whatever. I don't know, remains to be seen and so forth. So it's a big subject. But that's the experience that I had with that recently. So
on the surface, you see Harold as supposedly something that he's not. That's about it. Okay. He's just like his picture in a frame. But realistically, it's Reptilian Joni that runs the corporation, tap lines everybody. That's the real side of the whole thing. And there will never be a change there. It will only get worse. So she uses the pretty words to entice people and charge people. And if they want to pay and agree, that's their choice. But look to the real side, you'll be shown, because there is nothing there. Just like most of the things that have been created in this world, they've all been taken over by the reptilians. So we are the real position here. We have a real purpose, and that is the all is. So have fun, everybody. Watch your real side. Let's see what happens next. Thank you.